Hey everybody, welcome, welcome to Hidden Horror. Thank you for spending this time with me. I appreciate that. Let's get started. Hey everybody, good evening. How are you guys doing tonight on this Wednesday, right? I have to come here and bring you some news. If you have not seen it, let me tell you. Mr. Sean Combs, he had two properties that were raided at the same time in two different states. Let me tell you what that means. Let's get started, everybody. I want to start off with an article. This article is coming from NBCnews.com. It's titled Homes of Sean Diddy Combs Searched by Federal Officials. Sources say. Well, we won't just be dealing with sources. We have some video of the raids. Okay, this article is found on NBCnews.com. It's dated March 25th, 2024. And the authors are Diana Dazaref, Doha Madani, Andrew Blackstein, and Jonathan Dienst. Sean Diddy Combs is a subject of a federal investigation amid a wave of lawsuits that have been filed against the rap music mogul since November. A source familiar with the matter told NBC News on Monday. 3 women and a man have been interviewed by federal officials in Manhattan in relation to allegations of sex trafficking, sexual assault, and the solicitation and distribution of illegal narcotics and firearms, the source said. Interviews with 3 other subjects are also scheduled, the source said. 4 law enforcement sources told NBC News that federal agents with Homeland Security investigations on Monday executed search warrants at Los Angeles and Miami properties belonging to Combs. The sources said the warrant is out of the Southern District of New York. HSI confirmed in a statement that it executed law enforcement actions in New York as part of an ongoing investigation, along with teams in Los Angeles and Miami. Homeland Security officials seized phones from Combs in Miami before he was scheduled to depart for a trip to the Bahamas, according to 3 law enforcement sources familiar with the warrant. Combs was in the Miami area when authorities executed the searches, sources said. It is not clear if Combs made the trip as planned. One moment, please. My apologies about that. So let me try to pick up where I left off. Homeland Security officials seized phones from Combs in Miami before he was scheduled to depart for a trip to the Bahamas, According to 3 law enforcement sources familiar with the warrant, Combs was in the Miami area when authorities executed the searches, sources said. It is not clear if Combs made the trip as planned. Representatives for Combs, 54, did not immediately respond to NBC News requests for comment Monday. Now, they give a detailed background about the lawsuits and weapons charges. I'm not going to do that. If you want to learn more about those lawsuits, you can literally go on the Hidden Horror YouTube channel, and there is a whole playlist regarding Mr. Combs. What I want to do now, I want to share the video. It's about 2 minutes that comes with the article. So just one moment. I'm going to do that now. Wait a moment. Let's get the sound back.
Tonight, the multiple homes of Sean Diddy Combs from coast to coast raided by federal Homeland Security investigations agents. Heavily armed and armored tactical teams sweeping through Combs' posh Los Angeles property this afternoon, guns drawn, clearing room to room, people in handcuffs as agents made their way through the property. A similar scene playing out in Diddy's homes more than 2,000 miles away on Miami's Star Island, where several celebrities, including Gloria and Emilio Estefan and Jennifer Lopez, also have homes.
The fact that Diddy's home was raided means that agents for Homeland Security were able to show probable cause that a crime was committed and that evidence of that alleged crime would be found.
Okay, let's just pause the video for a moment. Look at the number, the sheer number of officers, law enforcement involved. I can at least count 30, 40. So I'm going to go overall and give you my opinion, but I just want to, take a look at the sheer number. Some of them have their faces covered. They may be undercover. You have different agents, some in plain clothes, and you have some with the vests, the jackets, identifying them. This was an orchestrated, targeted raid. And I will go into more detail about that, but I just wanted to pause it here so you can get the breadth of how large of law enforcement, how the number came upon these properties to seize information, try to collect evidence from their warrant.
At these homes.
Combs' whereabouts right now, unknown, but multiple sources tell NBC News Diddy was in the Miami area when the searches began. The raids were conducted by DHS on search warrants originating from federal prosecutors in the Southern District of New York. A person familiar tells NBC News multiple witnesses have been interviewed by prosecutors and investigators in connection with the case.
The speed at which it appears these raids were conducted suggests that agents were concerned that they needed to secure evidence quickly and prevent anyone from destroying evidence before they got there.
It's the latest.
I just want to pause it for a second, and I want to make sure I highlight that fact that these 2 raids, they were done at the same time, although in different states. That is very strategic by law enforcement, and I'll go into more detail about that. They're not saying it, but I will filter that out some more after the video, and I'm going to see if I can get my notes brought down, but let's continue the video.
Just an illegal firestorm surrounding the 54-year-old music mogul, with multiple lawsuits alleging sexual assault, abuse, harassment, forced drugging, and the distribution of illegal firearms and narcotics. The The allegations began last year with Combs' ex-partner, R&B singer Cassie, filing a lawsuit in New York. She was seeking $30 million, alleging physical and sexual abuse, as well as sex trafficking. They settled for an undisclosed amount. Several other women came forward with similar accusations. Representatives for Combs did not immediately respond to NBC's request for comment.
And Steve, you're joining us now outside a home that feds have been going through all day. Are they still there?
Lester, absolutely. This is still an incredibly active scene with police activity stretching beyond this roadblock, really as far as the eye can see, into this affluent, quiet neighborhood. We're hearing a very similar situation in Sena, Miami, where multiple sources are now telling us that 3 phones were seized at Diddy's property 2,000 miles away. By 100%.
One moment, please. Okay, my apologies. I actually have for the spring break, my daughter has some people over, so it's just a few interruptions, and my apologies. That's why I'm kind of down here giving that space for one of the girls. So I was trying to get my notes, but there's one more article I want to go over before I kind of talk about everything. The second article is always linked on the Hidden Horror Facebook page. It's come from CNN.com. It's titled, Sean Diddy Combs Lawyer Criticizes Searches of Musicians' Homes. This was released today, March 27, 2024. It was written by John Miller, Elizabeth Wolf, Eric Levinson, Denise Royo, and Carlos Suarez. An attorney for Sean Diddy Combs, who is the target of a federal investigation, has spoken out about the searches that took place at 2 of the musicians' homes on Monday. Aaron Dyer, Diddy's attorney, said in a statement to CNN on Tuesday, yesterday, there was a gross overuse of military-level force as search warrants were executed at Mr. Combs' residences. There is no excuse for the excessive show of force and hostility exhibited by authorities or the way his children and employees were treated. Authorities searched Combs' homes on Monday because he is a target of a federal investigation carried out by a Department of Homeland Security team that handles human trafficking crimes, according to a senior federal law enforcement official briefed on the investigation. The probe is being led by the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York and carried out by the Department of Homeland Security Investigations, HSI, Transnational Organized Crime Division, the official told CNN. HSI is responsible for investigating transnational crime and threats, including human trafficking, terrorism, narcotics, smuggling, and other organized criminal activity. The investigation stems from many of the same sexual assault allegations put forth in several civil lawsuits against Combs, according to a second law enforcement source familiar with Monday's searches. Combs has previously denied those allegations. Heavily armed teams of HSI agents searched Combs's home in Los Angeles and the Miami area Monday, some riding in armored vehicles, in part because authorities believe Combs employs armed private security at each of his residences, the first source said. Agents were processing paperwork on card tables outside the Miami area home, and mobile command post vehicles were visible at both properties. Agents were authorized to search for documents, phones, computers, and other electronic devices that hold data or videos, the second law enforcement source said. A law enforcement source earlier told CNN that Monday's searches were related to an ongoing sex trafficking investigation. HSI in New York said Monday it executed law enforcement actions as part of an ongoing investigation in cooperation with local law enforcement and HSI units in Los Angeles and Miami, and will provide further information as it becomes available. Dyer said Combs was never detained during the searches, but spoke to and cooperated with authorities. Despite media speculation, neither Mr. Combs nor any of his family members have been arrested, nor has their ability to travel been restricted in any way, Dyer's statement said. The unprecedented ambush, paired with an advanced coordinated media presence, leads to a premature rush to judgment of Mr. Combs and is nothing more than a witch hunt based on meritless accusations made in civil lawsuits. The statement added, there has been no finding of criminal or civil liability with any of these allegations. Mr. Combs is innocent and will continue to fight every single day to clear his name. I just want to interject right there. For the civil liability, Mr. Combs did come to an agreement with the Cassie Ventura lawsuit. So it is an undisclosed amount. So I don't know how that can be stated in the manner that it is. I guess because the case never went to a trial. It was settled. Anyway, Combs and his twin teenage daughters were preparing to leave Miami for a planned spring break trip on Monday when the searches happened, a source close to Diddy and with direct knowledge of the situation told CNN. The source would not reveal Combs's vacation destination or current whereabouts. Those close to Diddy believe the scale of the federal operation at his Los Angeles and Miami area homes was overzealous, that source said. The source echoed some of the criticism of law enforcement's actions outlined in Dyer's statement. Diddy's inner circle believes the media was tipped off about search of his Los Angeles home because a news helicopter was hovering above his residence before law enforcement breached his property, the source said. I don't want to go and recount the lawsuits. If you want to continue to read the article, to gain more information, you can. Again, I have done videos. It's in the playlist on YouTube for Mr. Combs. I don't want to recount all of the past allegations in his past history. I just don't want to spend that time. I really want to focus on the news, the fact that Mr. Combs he's under investigation. I'm going to give it to you straight. I'm not sure why the expectation is that he would be treated any different than any other person that's being investigated. Even though this case is coming out of New York, and there's sources that are saying that people are talking and people are interviewing in the New York cases. The reality is, when the Cassie Ventura lawsuit hit, this opened up others to file similar lawsuits. If you look at all the lawsuits, pretty much they have the same tone. There is allegedly sexual assault. There's possibly some sex trafficking going on. The idea that some of the people may have been allegedly drugged. The idea that this is happening across state lines, traveling. The idea that this is something that's being possibly videotape that's shared, basically is describing, like what I said in one of my past videos, this is a organized effort, allegedly with Mr. Combs at the top and his employees, his security staff. This is happening allegedly at the record label. This is happening with high executives in the record company. This is happening to, people through illegal means like hiring the sex workers, drugging people, etc., etc. My point being that the same or very similar accounts have come out, just with different people. And you cannot overlook that you've had, in just the last 6 months, multiple lawsuits. The Cassie Ventura lawsuit was the start. Now we have also a male that has sued Mr. Combs with similar allegations of assault, being coerced, being in this environment, in this music environment, in this situation where you're feeling forced, where you're uncomfortable, where you feel you possibly were drugged. Very similar accusations, right? At some point, one would have to realize that what was alleged initially in Mrs. Ventura's lawsuit, and also the additional lawsuits, the one with the underage 17-year-old Detroit woman, the one with the 2 women, and now the man, etc., that law enforcement would have to take notice. This was all over the news. It didn't just hit the news. There have been measures, steps taken, actions taken where Mr. Combs has been removed out of positions. From his school, for example, the separation with what was going on with the alcohol business, just so many different things. His online business, a lot of people are stepping back, stepping away, wanting to kind of sever ties. There was also some news about people not even wanting to sit with him at different awards and things like that. People are trying to kind of distance themselves. And the reality is that with the federal agencies, and in particular Homeland Security, when you have a strategic plan in place, you do not want to tip off the person that you're investigating. You don't want them to know. You want to blindside them. You don't want them to be prepared and then start possibly destroying evidence, deleting information, getting rid of records, pictures, video, information that may be in phone, destroying phones, and etc. So, as it is written, sources said that they were looking for videos. Well, guess what? A big part of the lawsuits involved allegedly all of these acts allegedly being caught and videoed and presented in a way to blackmail allegedly people, right? You can hold that over someone's head if you have information that could humiliate them, embarrass them, hurt their career, end their career. Maybe you want to manipulate them into doing something that you want or doing something that you don't want. You can use that. And I think that's why specifically they're looking for records, proof, evidence, documentation, i.e., the videos. The videos that Cassie allegedly said were taken of her. I mean, people are coming out and saying they have videos of Cassie Ventura. They received them. Allegedly, this last lawsuit with the male, he's saying that he has recordings and video. He took time to gain information, record different people, different situations, illegal activity, things of that nature. And I'm sure, again, if the New York prosecutor is sitting down, it's not just sitting down with people. Let me just kind of flush this out more. You have all kind of ways to get information to law enforcement. It can be through a tip. It can be as a snitch. It can be a witness. It can be someone that has overheard something. They don't have firsthand knowledge, but they heard something or they received something. It could be the victims, etc. So them sitting down and talking to 3, 4, 5 people, listen, it's probably 100 people that could provide information that could fill in a lot of factual accounts. You know, if they were there, if they're on the video allegedly, if they had encounters, if they were possibly a victim, or if they witnessed what happened, if they were hired as an employee, they may have witnessed certain things. It may be a culture within the business where this is allowed, this has happened, this is happening. You can create a hostile work environment for staff where they just quit or they can't handle it, or if they're seeing illegal activity allegedly, they may not want to be a part of that or have knowledge of that. So when they're saying they're talking to people and they're sitting down, and their sources are saying, hey, this is just the beginning. When the federal government gets involved in cases, they have a very, very high prosecuting rate of success where they get a conviction. They're probably over 95% getting a conviction. So when they come forward, when they start taking legal actions, they have information on you. They have information on you. They prepared a case. They did an investigation. They're involved in doing an investigation. They're collecting information. They're looking for witnesses. They're preparing to move on a criminal case against you. They may take time. They may have knowledge and information on someone over a long period of time, but they may wait until the right time when people are willing, when they're able to testify, to provide documents, to turn over evidence. They may then decide it's now time. And I believe that is what's happening with Sean Combs. I believe when the raids happened simultaneously, one in Florida and one in California at the same time, this is very strategic. This is so you cannot go and say, well, they're at this house, destroy evidence at that house, or they're in this city, now do this in that city. So It's very strategic. It's very wise. They came in prepared. They set up a command center. They had their warrants ready. And the fact that he or any of his children or staff were not arrested, it means absolutely nothing. It means that they weren't there to effectuate an arrest, to detain you. You have rights. And before they take that step and arrest you, they will allow the evidence to speak, to demonstrate, to show, by documenting it, by collecting it, by reviewing it, by investigating it. So, no, was that the day for the arrest? They'll allow you to turn yourself in if that becomes the next step. But definitely, this was a strong show of law enforcement. The working hands of the police, the long arm of the law, and those allegations in those civil lawsuits were in fact demonstrating criminal activity. In the video that I did, I talked about all of the possible criminal charges for the different allegations: the sexual assault, the sex trafficking, the drugging, the possible RICO case, etc., right? This is how cases are built, and you're seeing it really unfold in front of you because this is something that was heavily covered, videoed, it was live. You're going to see them taking out evidence. This is how they build cases. It is always wise to have counsel, to not make statements, to not demonstrate in some way that you're a victim. The best thing to do is to be quiet, to not answer questions. Allow your counsel to speak for you, or just don't have anything to say, because if they were there to arrest Sean Combs or anyone else, including family members or staff, that's what would have happened. What you saw, and they had army tanks, they were heavily ready because they know he has on his staff a armed security staff guarding those properties, protecting his homes, his family, etc. So, not to belabor it, but this is just the beginning steps leading to an arrest. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Mr. Combs is the target, and probably additional people like his staff, his employees. I'm not sure what hand or not his kids may or may not have had, but as more things are revealed, as more people come forward, they go under oath, they sign affidavits, they get videotaped with statements. They're going to be moving forward on a criminal case against Mr. Combs. And this is just to help establish with physical evidence all of these allegations. Cassie Ventura did not lay out that 35-page lawsuit for nothing. I would say the last 7 to 10 pages were criminal charges, possible criminal charges. And we all know what's been said. We don't have to repeat it, but the reality is she filed a civil case. Now the ball is in the federal courts, the U.S. attorney for the state of New York. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to let this behavior be overlooked because of someone's money, someone's financial status, the fact that they have represented for decades that they are this music mogul businessman? Are you going to overlook it? Do we have more people like Mr. Combs allegedly out there that's comparable, that have gone to prison, that have been convicted? You know, you have to consider it all. And everything you do, you're under a microscope in a sense when you're famous, when your actions and behaviors get out. But this is much, much bigger than just you. In my opinion, these allegations really demonstrate a criminal enterprise, a network of handling people in a manner that have allowed it to go on for decades, since the 90s. It appears to be that these type of instances of allegedly sexual assault, sex trafficking, drugging, it's been going on for almost 30 years. And the unfortunate part is how many people have been hurt, their life has been destroyed, they've been crushed, their music dreams, goals just withered away. They become a shell of a person. What kind of effects does this have? We see people, allegedly, Orlando Brown, right? A very, very sad case. Someone that is saying that they did these things happened to them, and many, many others. I don't like to really mention names, but Orlando Brown has been very vocal, and other people have been vocal, right? Making these allegations. The rapper 50 Cent, um, Jaguar Wright, the artist Jaguar Wright. Many, many people have been saying this for many years, but now people are listening. People are hearing. People have been convicted prior to this big news about Mr. Combs, and they're in prison. And I think many more people are going to be arrested. With this raid, it's showing law enforcement's intentions. Um, and we will see, right? We will continue to follow this case um, in the news, and hopefully, some of the victims will receive justice, will receive some help and acknowledgement that this happened to them. And that is wrong. It's wrong. I really don't know a lot of ways to say that when you have power, when you're in a position, you have to be very careful about how you treat others, how you represent, how you demonstrate. Because when people want fame, when they want to be famous, when they want to be rich, um, you have to treat them well. You have to treat them fair and use morals, because you don't want to take your position, your power um, for granted and abuse, misuse, or hurt others because of the elevation that you have. Because every ladder has steps, right? And those steps can take you up, and the same steps can take you down. So you want to be aware of that. You want to be humble and be careful about how you're operating in any business, in any way, in any relationship. You want to be mindful of that. So um, I just wanted to bring this information to you. I know it's all over the news, and I'm sure you have seen it, you have read it, you have saw some of the clippings, and I just want to say this is very serious. Um, the feds are not going to stop. Um, I don't think that this secret, this hidden world, this other world beneath what we see, the glam, the pictures, the award ceremonies, the music videos, these TV shows, there is something underlying that has been full of evil, wickedness, immorality, um, degradation, um, um, just taking advantage of people because you can. Um, Vulnerable people, people that just don't have knowledge. I mean, has been so many things said about people being taken advantage of in their contracts and their deals. How not having an attorney, and how some of these deals were structured. That is just one piece with the royalties and payments, and there was no fair distribution of those funds. However, that is just a financial piece. What about the emotional toll? The effects of that, the mental health. How again, Mr. Orlando Brown, he appears to have suffered a great deal for the things that he did and what happened to him. Very, very sad case, and many others as well, with possibly the use of drugs, the force of the S activity, and things like that. It's just very unfortunate. It's a very dark, dark world, um, a hidden society, a whole, another existence that people didn't know about, that people had no idea what was happening. You're seeing the beauty, you're seeing the imagery, what they want you to think is happening, and in reality, people have given their life, their morals, and they have lost their convictions and everything to get to all for what? For fame, for being in the limelight for a period of time, and you're breaking your heart, you're destroying yourself. You can see a lot of people hurt behind this. It's just really unfortunate. I'm trying to be careful to just report what's in there, and all of the things that kind of are operating. This is the start to something that's going to lead to some arrests and probably some convictions. I mean, so many people have come out now. I don't know that it can go back and go away. It was very quiet for some time before this last lawsuit. And I don't think this is going to stop. I don't think everybody that was hurt, injured, that this happened to will come forward. You have to look at 20, 30 years passing. Is this going to ruin their career? How people perceive them. I think that some may not really speak up because of the fear of what people will think. Will they treat you differently? Will they not listen to your music? Will they not support you? I think there's a level of humiliation, embarrassment. I can remember when the actor Terry Crews came forward and said something happened to him. It has seemed as if this was so common that if you go to LA, some weird bad things might happen to you. And this is a common, I don't want to say habit, but this is a common occurrence where if you're a straight male, you may be approached by someone, and they may, offer you an opportunity, but it's tied to other things. Other things are things that maybe you don't want to do. You may be within a marriage or just single, but you're not comfortable doing. You may not have no interest in that. And I'm trying to keep this clean. So please read between the lines. But some bad things happen to a lot of people. And I don't think most of them came forward. I really don't. I think this has been a huge, huge, dark secret, something that was hidden. People didn't talk about it. People continue to go on, and now it's out. It's not going back. Hopefully, more people will feel empowered, and we have to support them, encourage them to come forward. I know there was a man that was a male actor, and he would not actually speak about the person that he alleged took actions against him sexually. He would not say that person's name, but he went around and about it. I think there's a lot more of that. And think about the people that did do it, that caved in, that gave in for these deals, for these opportunities. And then think about all the people that didn't, that their career never took off, or their career ended. It was stifled. People strategically blackballed them, blacked them out of the industry because they were unwilling to do certain things. I know Cat Williams has made certain statements, and others as well, But Mr. Williams has been very vocal about the goings on in Hollywood. And I think it is very hard to be within that genre and have to see some of these things, and you can kind of see why some people never fully got to a certain place, because maybe they weren't playing into all of these requirements, things that they want you to do, things that they ask you to do, things that are coming upon you that you don't even expect. You're here for a job, an opportunity, you're willing to work, you just want to be paid, and all of these other things are presented, things that you can't go around, you can't bypass. Executives, people are teamed up together working to block you out of opportunities, say that maybe you're difficult, you're hard, you're not a team player, etc., etc. I can see now why some people careers, they never took flight, they never went any further. And I can see now, looking back on my teenage years growing up, I can see why certain people became successful, because I can recall many instances where I thought this was the strangest thing, when two men kiss each other in the mouth. And it's grooming. It's grooming from taking someone very young up, and their parent is not around, and you're stepping in as the adult, but you're crossing boundaries. You're manipulating a younger person, and you forever change them. You change their life, the course of their life, the direction of their life. You may have killed their spirit. Maybe they don't want to sing anymore because it's too dark. It's too hard to be within an industry where if you're not doing these things, you can't get ahead. The doors are shut on you, no matter how good you can sing, no matter how good you can act, perform. Somebody else is willing to do it, plus do more, plus do this, plus do that, compromising themselves, their values, their morals, because they want fame, they want this opportunity, and they're willing to go above, beyond, plus more to do it. So, this involves a lot, and I'm just going to keep watching to see what unfolds. Let's see what happens in another 3 months. I would suspect Mr. Combs hasn't been charged because they're preparing the complaint. They want to refer to the evidence they collected. They want to refer to witnesses' accounts, to the tips, to all of this information that they're building their case on. And when all of that is prepared, laid out, established, then again, that 95, 96% conviction rate, you're going to see, only then will those charges come. Watch and see what I tell you. You've seen already the show of force, that they're serious, they're taking this serious. And if you don't see it already, there's going to be a large prosecution starting with Mr. Sean Combs. He is the apex, he's at the top, and it's going to come down to the management, to the executives, to the record labels, to in concert working together so that this criminal enterprise is active, overlooking, breaking the law, etc., etc. Then it will go down to lower level people, the security guards, the staff, the people that set up allegedly the activity and things like that, the people that brought in the drugs, etc., etc. You can even turn them into witnesses. Maybe they'll get a lower charge, etc., etc. But you can definitely see that this is headed in a certain direction, and that will be towards criminal charges. Yeah, that would be towards a massive group of criminals slash assailants slash co-defendants. Okay, so thank you for checking out this video. Please remember, be smart, stay safe, stay savvy, be well, all my friends. Thank you so much. Thank you for spending this time with me. Have a beautiful evening. Bye, all my friends. Bye, everybody.